Hello everybody, this is Ridgedog from the VoxelBox. Today we're going to be bringing you something a little new, not something we've done before, and I think what we're going to dub these is build along. Something where I'll ask you to gather some materials and we'll go through building a device together, and at the end of it I'll actually provide the schematic of what we've built so that you can see and compare. Today we're actually going to build something that Deamon and I have been working on for the last few days, compacting and sorting through all of the electronics. It may look a little complicated, but we're going to go through and break down every single part. This is a repeat fire TNT cannon. It loads from an underneath system, and the sand is gathered and is used to push the TNT up and out of the system. So we're actually going to begin with your regular old style TNT cannon. As soon as we fire this, we're going to get over there and get what materials you're going to need for us to be able to continue. So I'm going to fire this TNT cannon. This TNT cannon is comprised of 7 charges to blast this bit of TNT way out there. How many chunks did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, 6 and a little bit. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to fire this one, and if it's as reliable as it always has been, we're going to land right on that little adminium X out there. Oh, perfect. Let's see what she does. And let's watch that mechanism at work. Pretty nifty. Let's go ahead and turn that off. So let's go over the materials we're going to need for this build along. Today we're going to want you to gather a piston, redstone wire, sand, grilled carbonite, or I guess sandstone or any other type of block like stone if you want. Something you like and is pretty. We'll want a sticky piston, repeaters, redstone torches, trinitrotoluene. I always say trolurine. Trinitrotoluene, also known as TNT.
Toluene.
Toluene? He's Canadian. He says it better.
Urine.
Toluene. A button. And your standard GR7 Corporation all-purpose wall and floor paneling, otherwise known as wool. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, at the end of it we've got a little surprise about something that's going to be in the adventure map that we're putting together, and we'll show off what Deamon and I have made with this device. So let's get over here and take a look at some of the bits and pieces we've put together, and then we'll build them as we go. I'm actually going to start with and use some of the grilled carbonite. Oh, I'll get some sand blocks. We'll definitely need a button. We won't need any of the voxel sniper stuff. So the piston, and I don't have any space for the... we'll go with the regular pistons for now. So what we've got, we'll begin with, is a system of pushing sand, of gathering sand down, and then pushing it up. And usually you'd think you can't push sand up, it's just going to get destroyed or be pushed off the side. Well, a properly timed piston system can actually lift the sand and then push sand underneath it before it falls. And I'll go ahead and illustrate that to you right now. If we push the button, it raises that and then immediately pushes the sand underneath. This is our loading system for the TNT cannon. Sand is gathered and it pushes the TNT along the bottom and up and out the top. So let's go ahead and build one of those now. We'll start it over here. We're going to place, I don't know, we'll put 6 or 7 blocks down. And we'll need a piston that pushes up. Not north, but up. Do you want to get that sticky piston? I don't have it in my inventory and I'm super lazy. So we'll go ahead and we'll put down some sand. Oh, I guess we don't need a sticky piston right now yet, do we?
Yes, standard one.
Just, oh, okay, that was pretty derp. Neglect what I had mentioned before. So, from whatever button or method of powering you have here, you're going to need exactly 10 ticks. You'll notice over here we have 10 1-ticks, but you can accomplish the same thing with a 4, 4, and a 2-tick. And what that's going to do is it can gather any amount of sand and push right underneath the other one. So, to recap, this piston, when it pushes up, can have a sand block be shunted underneath the one that it just pushed up after a 10 repeater delay. Something else interesting is I built one of these before where it pushed back and forth, and it actually worked as a pretty interesting elevator system. It was on a clock, and when you pressed a button it would push up a certain amount, and then when you press another button it would lower down a certain amount, and it would have a stack of the remainder of 12 sand over here that it would use to push you up and down on this side. It was actually pretty cool. So now that we've got this system in place, why don't we go ahead and put some TNT in here, or should we show the shortened stack? Do you want to show the shortened stack bit, Demon?
Yeah, let's move into the shortened stack.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 10 delay, and we'll push this here, and we'll put our repeater here. I probably should have just left this for now. Okay, so we want this to stack here, but we don't want a tower of sand 12 tall, right? Because that's going to make our clip look, if you look at our clip, it doesn't look like that at all. It's smaller. It's too wide. So what we want is, we don't want this to be so tall, but we want it to be half that height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Oh, so we'll do 4 and 4. 2, 3, 4. Do you want to build a clock for this, Demon, over there, so that it automatically goes? Demon's going to put together an automatic redstone clock, which will tick back and forth on its own. And before he turns it on, we're actually going to see how to set up and create a pulsar that will be reliable in starting your clock. So, we've got a 2-wide tower of sand. Now, the problem here is that if we were to push this button, I'll go ahead and show you right now what will happen. Had to move my redstone out. Okay. So if we push this sand up, you know what, I'm going to get rid of some of this sand. Oh, well, that's what happens when redstone derps. It's destroying them one by one. Let's get rid of that real quick. And we'll get rid of this tower. So, what we're going to do here... Oh, and the only reason that this requires 10 ticks, I really need to point this out beforehand, sorry, is because you're using a button press. If you were using a pulsar, which only had this shoot up real quick and then come back down, the delay in between this would need to be much shorter. But with a button press, 10 ticks is the optimal amount. Okay, so now you see that we've used 2 of our previous stack over there, and we've used the 3rd bit, and we're not going to go anywhere. However, what Demon and I have used in our clip is something a little bit different, where we instead are using a gripping piston, a sticky piston, on top, facing that sand block. And I'll go ahead and show you how that's going to work. I'm going to bring this around. Do we need a redstone repeater right there?
Nope.
Okay. So, go ahead and press that button, Demon, and I'll show
Hang
back
on.
here.
You do need a bedrock or obsidian block right there.
Yes. Good point. Otherwise, this piston, when fired, would push forward and would nudge this forward. Okay, go ahead and hit that button. We'll see what this looks like. So, as before, it's using up this first tower of sand and lifting the main tower. But now, both pistons push, and the sticky piston actually gathers that bit of sand from the far column. So, we've used both columns at a half of a height to create twice the height in a single column. And this has many other implications in counting systems and what have you, but for our purposes, a double height column is preferable. So what we're doing here is, here I'll get rid of all this sand. We use a small stack of sand, and we'll actually put TNT here. Our TNT usually lines the entire bottom row. Well, that's not going to work, is it? Okay, so say this is your TNT. When you're building your cannon, you can't have your TNT be part of the buffer clip back there. This is the pushing section, because TNT does not fall. So as sand does, we can have the entire bottom row full of TNT and just have this bit that falls. So if we were to push this, same as what happened with the sand. I wonder why that pushed so fast before. That was a short button press. Okay. And we can actually power the TNT as it rises. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit more complicated, and we will now begin discussing how the physics of water and TNT work together. So, at its most base level, when TNT is in water, it will not explode. I'm sorry, it will explode and it will damage things. However, it will not damage blocks and it will not blow them apart. So let's get a block of water here and I'll kind of illustrate this. So say you've got water that's pouring here. A lot of TNT cannons, what you're going to see is you've got something where there's TNT in the cannon like that. And so the reason that is the reason there's water. It used to push it forward, now it no longer does, but that's alright. You just put a torch here, and it lights it, and then the water immediately fills that space. Now when the TNT explodes, nothing around it will be damaged. However, I'll show you for instance. If you were to light only this TNT here, for instance, the water is not going to get to it, and if it's not touching water, boom, it explodes. So, I think I just stole your pickaxe. Haha, I did. For that. So let's go ahead and begin the process of building the basic basin for our TNT cannon. So what we're going to use is we'll use our grilled carbonite because it's going to be the easiest to clean up. And we'll start right here. Or, you know what we'll do is we'll actually just build where this one is. How about we watch the repeat fire cannon go again and you can kind of see an example of what it does. So it rises this TNT. As this TNT rises, it's lit by this constantly on torch. At the precise moment when this TNT needs to light, it's pressed out and is lit by this powered block, and is airborne when fired by these TNT. And having it be airborne is what is so successful about the range of this cannon, is that because it is so precisely timed, it doesn't touch the water, it has no friction, and immediately becomes airborne and lands well and beyond the normal range of a TNT cannon. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chunks. Alright, let's go ahead and break this one down and we'll begin fresh. I love using a super pickaxe to kind of just tear through things really quick. It's very, very useful. We're not going to rebuild this nearly as compact as it is, because that would just be rude. We'll spread everything out so you can see, as we build, one by one, what every single block does, and every single, I guess if you want to call it circuit, it's really just a clock, will look like as it goes. So we're just going to make a big mess first. We'll clean it up. Where was the firing bit? Demon, do you remember? Because that was the important bit. Was it that one you just broke?
Quite possibly.
Alright, well I wanted to keep the tip of where it was, because what's really odd is sometimes TNT doesn't always work the same.